Hi guys, and thank you for joining me. I'm here to show you my new 2020-21 teacher planner. It has over 600 pages and I'm estimating over 2,000 links. I've not gone through and counted them all. All right, so when you first open the planner, this is the page you get. I am going to be doing this on my 11-inch iPad Pro first generation. I'm using GoodNotes 5 and I have my Apple Pencil second generation. You can use this in any PDF annotating software. I like to leave this first part blank up here because I had my pictures of my family or my pets, or you could add an expressional quote. So let's dive in. First page you get to is your very standard this planner belongs to. Go ahead and write your name, whatever you need to. Again, blank. You can import pictures, put quotes, school information, whatever you need to up here. This is the basic layout of the inside of the planner. Up here across the top, we have tabs to all of our different sections. Going down across the bottom, we have more tabs to all of the important sections, and going down across the side, we have tabs to all of our months. I'm going to go ahead and jump in and show you what they look like. So from here, I'm going to hit my index. Your index is going to have links to the same pages as the tabs across the bottom and across the top. These are all linked, and each section, I will tell you, and I'll show you a little bit more about this, goes to a divider. So that way, if you need to add pages or remove pages from in the inside, the section still works the same. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. First thing we have here is our year at a glance. Okay, so this is what your divider page is going to look like. This way you can add any information you need to behind this page and your link would stay the same. So your year at a glance, you have a calendar at a glance. You have July through December. This would be 2020. The months are all linked to those months. And then the next page, you have January through June 2021. Okay, we can go back to our index here, and the next page we have is our curriculum planning. This is the same as this tab up here. They go in the same order. We have our year at a glance and our curriculum planning. Within the dividers, if the section has more than one topic, I'll have links to those pages down here. So for curriculum planning, we have our yearly curriculum planning and we have our weekly curriculum planning. If I click on yearly, it's going to take me to a year overview that has 4 months per page. The colored boxes are your weekends. You can use this to block out your curriculum. If you teach, say, history in high school and you know you need to get through chapter 1 in August, so you're going to do pages here to here, here to here, those are your topics. Or you could use this more generally as your overview of your calendar. Like I have Independence Day written in there. I have first day of school written in there. Whatever you need to do. So we've got all 12 months through June. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my year tab. Sorry, I'm in my curriculum planning tab, and then I'm going to take a look at my weekly. So this is my weekly mapping page. You can use this however you want to. You can do this by subject, you could do it by class. So maybe you teach Math 1. In the first week here, you're doing a review, and you need a video for it. And second week, maybe you're doing chapter 1 and you have the textbook, and so on. If you have more than one subject that you teach, you can duplicate this page and have it in right next to it. So then I could go up and I could turn my pencil on, and maybe I want to title this page Math 1. Write it in there. And then if I go up here to my waffle, I get an overview of the pages. The page that we were just on is going to be outlined in blue. I can click on this arrow and I can put duplicate, and that's going to throw another one in right after it of the same page. If I click on that, maybe I don't want this to be Math 1, this needs to be Math 2, and I can erase this and write out whatever I need to for that. Okay, now this isn't going to change any of my links throughout the book, and that's why I have the dividers there, because I can come back up here to my curriculum and I still go here, my weekly still takes me right there, and now I have week 2 afterward, and you can do that. And I have this labeled through 45 weeks of teaching. Okay, after our curriculum, I'm a special education teacher, so IEPs are a huge part of my life. So I have my IEP tracker. Gen Ed teachers, maybe you have a lot of IEPs, maybe you don't. This may be a tab you use often, it may not be. In here, I have 3 pages. If you need more, you can use more. If you don't need that many and you want to delete it so your planner's not so bulky, even in the digital world, you can delete pages and it's not going to mess up anything. Okay, the rows across the top here are blank because each person who needs to track IEPs may need to track different information. For me, I need the date, if they have a triennial, if a notice of meeting was sent, if testing needs to be done, schedule, AP, affirmative test, and notes. And I can go in and fill this out as needed. So that is my IEP tracker. Next tab, I have my classroom information. This is going to be my basic information for my classroom or forms that I may need. So I have emergency procedures. I have one that has your basic emergency procedures, and these are lined to help you give a little bit of a guide when writing in on them. You have your fire drill, your lockdown, shelter in place, and then I wanted to make sure I told you guys this. This tulip is going to be on every single page you see, and it is to close your planner. So maybe you're working on something and a colleague comes in or a student comes in, you don't want them to see what you're writing. All you have to do is quickly tap it and it'll close your planner and take you to the cover, so no one knows what you've been doing. Okay, so again, one swipe to open it back up, and we're going to go back into classroom information. So again, we're in emergency procedures. The next page here, it just says emergency procedures at the top, and it has 3 spaces. So if you have different types of emergencies you have to plan for, maybe in your area you have earthquake drills, hurricane drills, fire drills, whatever, you can use this page. Okay, classroom information. I have classroom procedures. I have volunteers. I'm lucky enough that my school has parent volunteers normally. Now with this next year after COVID-19, I don't know if that's going to happen. We will have to wait and see. My guess is the beginning of the year I won't have these volunteers. Anyways, I can write the name of the volunteer, the day that they're on campus, what time they come, and what I have them doing in the classroom. That way, again, if I need a sub, I can quickly refer to this, and so I can let the sub know, oh, right, on Tuesdays, this volunteer comes in, this is what they're going to do, they don't need any help, etc. Go back to my classroom information. I have a seating chart page here for you. This is a light grid page for you to use however you need to in this coming year of having to socially distance in a lot of our classrooms. This may be a more needed page and you may need copies of it. Again, you can go in and duplicate it that same way. Go back to my classroom information, and finally I have field trip information. If we are lucky enough to take field trips this year, here is where you can write all the information you need for your field trips. Okay, so that's class. The next one up here is class roster, and that's what we're on. This is going to be where you're going to get more pages specifically to your students in your classroom and not your classroom information. So the first one here, and one of the ones I find to be the most valuable, is student information. This page, I have 2 of them, so it can go through 30 students. If you have more students than that, you can duplicate it. However, you will lose one feature of this iPad, or this planner. These down here where you can number your students are linked to individual data pages. So say this student is Joe Smith, and this is their information. If I want to get more specific information on them, I click their number and it brings me up with their data page that I can write in all of their important information. Again, I'm a special education teacher, so I have IEP info and goals. If you don't have IEP info, you could put a sticker over that, maybe put that as strengths or weaknesses or whatever you need. Goals don't have to be related to IEPs. They could be goals you have for that student this year. Maybe it's to finally pass out of the spelling group that they've been in or struggling in. Right behind that page for each student, I have a parent or guardian contact. So this is for the same Joe Smith. It's right after it. Who did I contact? I contacted Eric. They are the dad. This is the date I contacted him. This is how I contacted him. That's email. I don't mail things out generally, although I did at the end of this last school year. And then why I contacted him. This is important because then if I have a parent come back to me and say, I never got that information, I have documented how I did it, and I can duplicate this page as many times as I need to. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my roster page. Next, I have a quick IEP at a glance page. I know this seems redundant. Again, if you don't need to use it, don't use it. If you like this one better than the other one, use this one. Name, what services the student has, what accommodations they have, and their IEP date. Back to my roster, I have a student birthday page. Back to the roster of health information. Maybe you have students who have severe allergies or asthma that you need to know. This is where you can make quick note of those. My roster, I have transportation. This may be for more of the elementary school teachers. This is lightly gridded. You can list here all of your students that get picked up by their parents, that maybe take a bus, the students that walk, and the students that stay for after school care. Okay, and if I don't want to go back to roster and I know what's after it, I can just swipe there. This is my RTI data collection. RTI is response to intervention. I know this word is spelled wrong. I have corrected it, just not when I was doing this video. This is if you need to collect data on any student who is struggling. And again, you can make as many copies of this as you want. You can copy and then move it to be right behind that student's data page also. Okay. After roster, I have data. This is the divider that then is going to have all of my data pages. And there's 30 sets of them. And again, maybe this student doesn't have an IEP, but they're on RTI, and I want to drop that RTI page in right here. You can do that. Okay. So after data, I have a behavior tracker section. I have multiple ways of tracking behaviors based on what the student's needs are. I will quickly scan through these pages. If you are wanting an overview or more in-depth knowledge on how I use these pages, leave me a comment and I'll be happy to go through it. So first we have teacher observation. We have weekly behavior tracking. This would be for tally marks, observation notes, ABC data. So we have our antecedent, the behavior, and what consequences, what happened after, not necessarily punishment. Frequency tracking by 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or 60 minutes. And then this is a leveled tracker. So the level of the behavior, was it mild, moderate, or intense? Another observation form. And then I have 2 academic tracking pages here also. So these are academic notes. Maybe you just need to make notes to keep in mind about a student. And then this one has maybe the date and the time, the assignment you gave them, the score that they had, and any intervention that you maybe need to do to just kind of keep track of, you know what, the student's struggling a little bit. I want to keep track of how many times I have to reteach something. So that is behavior. Next, we have a website tracker. I have students and personal. I know for me, when we had to switch to distance learning, I got bombarded with new passwords and new websites, and it was hard to keep track of everything. This planner and this iPad is only going to have, or this planner is only going to have my school information in it. It's not going to have my personal websites and logins to anything that would be, you know, personal information. That being said, is partly because if my information is ever subpoenaed, based, say an IEP is going to court, I may have to download this PDF and share it, and that's how, of course, I would not want them to have any of that information. I also have student passwords. This became a huge challenge with some of my students in distance learning, on the students saying they couldn't remember their login and password, and me having to look it up every single time on all of the different formats was challenging. So I wanted a place that I could write that down. Next up here, we have schedules. I have 2 weekly schedules in this part of the planner. When we get down here to extras, I'll show you some extra options, and you can always throw those in if you want to. So the first one is a basic Monday through Friday. I have it lightly grid. There's 9 squares down here. Now, I did not write times or periods on any of these because everybody's different. Some people have period 1, period 2, period 3. Some want to do 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Some want to maybe do it by block schedules. So this is pretty open for you to do however you want. The next one here is your specials or your extra schedules. This could be used if you have a different schedule, maybe on Monday holidays, or you have minimum days, or, you know, maybe every other week you have music on Thursdays, and so your schedule changes. You can duplicate these if you need different types of weeks. Okay, so next up here we have, so that's our schedule. Next we have small group instruction. I have this set up so you have your small groups, and you can list who is in each small group by the color of the group. You could name the group. So maybe this green group here is my reading intervention group. Reading comprehension. Okay, and I can list what students are in this group. Then for each of these colors, if you click on the color, it takes you to an overview of what that group is. You could list your students, the skills, so you could list your skills taught, maybe they mastered these skills or these need reteaching, and notes. And then you have a lesson plan for your small group here. Again, your students, your date, your standard, your objection or lessons, what you need to do, and this can be duplicated and used over and over. So if you go to your groups, you can also get directly to your group teaching by clicking on the color name here if you know what it is. And then I could fill this in. So that is our small groups. Next, I have a basic lesson planning section. I know everybody's school requires different things for lesson planning. Some teachers just have to submit something. Some teachers have a very specific format they need to do. If you have a very specific format, you can always insert a blank page behind this page and then insert the format that you need to do. But what I have here for you is I have a state standards page. You could write your grade, your standard, and the information, so maybe you can keep track of everything you need to teach for that subject. Okay. The next is this lesson plan with this layout, and then the second one is a little bit different layout with time and task in there. Again, if these don't work for you, you can always insert what you need to. And then I have books to read. I think this is one of my favorite pages because I always think of books or hear books like halfway through the year. The teacher's like, oh, I read this book at the beginning of the year and it was fabulous. And I'm like, oh, great. I need to remember to read that next year. And I never do. So now a teacher says that, I can come in and I can go, oh, the book, I want to read this book. And this is the author, so I can find it. And this is a great beginning of year. Beginning of year. And then maybe the activity, I can zoom in so I can write in here. It's getting to know each other. Zoom out. Perfect. Now next year, when I'm starting to do my planning, I can go back and look at this and go, that's right, I wanted to read that book then, and not forget about it. So those are your lesson planning pages. I'm going to skip calendars for now and jump down here to the bottom tabs. We have a grade book. My grade book and my checklist are the same style pages. I just have them in separate sections so you can use them however you need. I have them labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4. You can put in the name of each one. Maybe 1 is for math and 2 is for history. Maybe this one's just your attendance, etc. Okay. And then there's a single page for each one, and then you can duplicate that page as many times. So this would be my 1, so this would be my math. This is 2, so maybe this is history again. And then this is my attendance. And then this is what the 4th one looks like. And I could duplicate those as many times as I need to. And they are the same, in the same order for my checklist, but maybe I want these to be something completely different. Maybe this is field trip money collection, and number 2 is planning for the art showcase and what you've got, whatever you need. After checklists, I have to-do lists. I have a daily to-do list, a weekly to-do list, which has your email to copy and to print. I have this one, which is kind of just like a slim running to-do list. You could copy and paste this anywhere you need to, and then more of your standard to-do list. After that, I have notebook paper. There is a light and a dark for each type of the paper, except for blank. Blank is blank. We have, first up, we have grid. So you can't see it very well. If I zoom in, hopefully you can see that a little bit. It's very light of a grid. The second one is the darker one. You should be able to see that one. Okay. Next we have the lined. So again, very light. This one's slightly darker. Then we have dot, that's very light, and a dot grid that's darker. And then we have a completely blank page that will have all of your main links available to it. So you could insert this page anywhere in the planner you need it to. Okay. Then we have our meeting notes. I have 3 different types of meeting notes, and then professional development. So this is type 1. And this area down here is blank because, let's be honest, we all sit in meetings and we start to kind of doodle, and we're going to draw this, and I'm going to do this, and we all do it. So I gave you space to do it. Here's your second meeting note, your third meeting note, and then here's your professional development with a date, the name of the development, maybe the location, and the time it was, and then you can write notes about that development, and you could copy this page as many times as you need it to. After that, I have parent-teacher conference page. Some schools require you to have a printout to give to parents. You could use this. It has a place for parent signature if that's something your school requires or you just like doing. It has areas for strength, areas for concern, and areas for the parents' concern, so you can make sure you address that. And then notes. Okay. And then after that I have extras, and I'll come back to that at the end. And then also I have 4 tabs down here, or 5 tabs, excuse me, that are completely blank for you to use however you want to, and I'll go into that in a minute. So let's just jump into our months. Okay. First we have July, and again, each month has a divider page at the beginning, so you could insert anything behind it that you wanted to without losing these main links. Okay, we have July. Then after that, after the month, we have, or after the divider page, we have a calendar of the month with some note pages, and then we have kind of a dashboard for the month with your goals for the month, your tasks that you need to do, maybe important dates, what are you looking forward to, and notes for that month. And then this is what our weekly pages look like. This is what our daily pages look like, and I'll go into depth a little bit more on that. So here's August. Again, each month has its own kind of theme, or not theme, style. Here's your divider for August. All right, so here's my August calendar. First off, down the side here, underneath this highlight, there's these very light stars. These are your links to your weeklies, and I wanted these to be light so they didn't stand out, but you know where they are, and they're in the same place for every month. So if I were to click this link, it would take me to the week of the 3rd. And then each day here is also linked to the daily. So I'm going to go back into August, and here's my month, and I can click each link here and again get to the same daily. And then down here there's a hidden, it's highlighted on this page, but if we scroll to the next page, you can see it when I click on it. It says open link. I can click on it and it'll take me to that week page for that daily. So I'll go back, here's my month. If your week shares days with the next month, this weekly here that says that 8/31 through 9/6 is going to be the same link as if I go into September. And so this is the same 31. I click there, September, click there. It's going to take me back to that same week. So you don't have to duplicate when you're planning for the week, and it's automatically figured in for you. And then if I click here, it's going to take me to my September daily. So let's look at some of the colors. September, again, your same dashboard. Here's your daily. So it has a date across the top. Every day has a lined notepad area. You could do this for your daily schedule. You could do it for your notes. You could do it for whatever you need to do. And then you have your to do, your to call, and your to email, because I find as a teacher, those are some of our most important things to get done during the day. Okay, so we have that for the whole week. And then we have what our September weeks look like. For our weeklies, at the top we have the date. We have 5 lines here that could be used for your top 5 priorities, maybe your 5 schedules or the 5 lessons you're going to teach. A box here that you could put whatever you want into. Notes, again, maybe your next top 5 things, and another box. If this weekly doesn't work for you, you could put stickers, you could cover it up, you could do whatever you want. This is what I find to be the most useful. And again, I have my dailies. So let's look at what some of the other months look like. We have October. So again, here we've got our weekly links. All of our days are linked, our dashboard, our days, and our weeks. November, same thing, and our weekly here. December, I thought this looked like snow a little bit. I'm in California right now and I miss the snow of Colorado, especially today when it was 100 degrees. So we have our dailies and our weeklies. And then January, it's a new year. Dashboard, our dailies, and our weeklies. February. March. April. My birthday's in April. I wanted something kind of celebratory for it. So here's our dailies and our weeklies. May, it's the end of year. We're all melting because our classrooms are too hot. And our weeklies. And then finally we have June. It's the end of the year. You may be out before this, but again, it's a fully linked through the end of June. All right, I said I would come back to our extras, so we're going to come down here. Some of these are just blanks from ones we've already covered, so I'm not going to go in depth for those. So like our birthday and our behavior and our field trip and our RTI, those are the same as we've already seen. I put these here in case you delete it somewhere else in the planner and you're like, oh no, I deleted my only RTI page. Well, no, you didn't. Here's another one for you. See? Go back to extras. And then there is an extra. These are your extra dividers that are down here. Okay. Some of the things that are a little different in here, if they have a number by it, means that's how many different varieties I put in for you, just in case you're wanting something different. I think there should be something that meets your needs here. Okay, so that's our extras. And then these blank, either dividers here or these blank numbers down here, go to blank dividers that have nothing behind them. The idea is maybe number 4, maybe something I didn't think of, I don't know. Maybe this is a training that is an ongoing training that you want to label it. So this would be maybe you're getting your admin credential. So this is your credential notes. Credential notes. And again, you can always add a text box and type or stickers or, you know, you don't have to do it, okay? But then you need some pages behind it. So you go in here, we're here at credential notes, but maybe you just want blank note pages. So if you scroll up through your extras till you find the blank meeting page you want. Okay, this is the one I want. Yep, that's the one I want. It's my dot grid. I click on this little arrow down here and I can duplicate it. And it's going to put a second one right here. Now, if I select this one, I can drag it down. And it's going to shuffle everything. And I can add it right there after my credential notes. So now I'm in my credential notes and I scroll and now I have my dot grid that I can use. All right. So everything we went through across the top is the same that we have here. You have your 5 extra here, so you could label this your credential notes or whatever you needed to. And then again, I'm going to close that, or hit that to close my binder or my planner. All right, if you guys have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll be happy to answer them. In a few weeks, I will go through a plan with me where I set up more of my personal information and use some of these pages. I am also going to have a horizontal version. I'm finishing a few tweaks of formatting for that and hope to have it up in the next few days, but it'll be the exact same planner. Thanks. Bye, guys.